everyone, it's Jared here, and today you're going to learn 7 drum beats that you don't need to know. These are drum beats that when you go play a gig or you go do a session, you're never going to get asked to play these. I just want to tell you that right off the bat. But these beats are kind of showy, there's a little bit of showmanship in them, and they actually help you work on some related techniques. Like what you saw in the intro, I was doing crossovers. And you're going to see other things where we get to work on related techniques as well. So although the beats, you do not need to know these, the techniques required to play some of these beats are really fun to learn. All right, so let's just jump into it. Now the first beat I want to teach you is basically a variation on what I used to see Carter Beauford do of the Dave Matthews Band. He's one of my all-time favorite drummers. And it's basically just crossing over from the ride cymbal to the crash cymbal. Or you could cross over from the crash to the crash. I like the ride to this crash. And so I'm just going to tap the cymbals very lightly so you could see exactly how the crossover pattern happens. Here we go. And then after that, the pattern restarts. So it's basically only a 2-beat pattern. Okay, so let's look at it again very slowly. And that's exactly how it works. So I'm going to play it nice and slowly at 60 beats per minute. Here we go. Now we can do it up to speed at 100 beats per minute. All right, so you'll never need to know that beat, but it's fun to practice, and it teaches you to do crossovers and the cymbals and work on that sort of technique. So give it a whirl if you want. The next groove I want to teach you involves some basic, very basic stick flips. I am not a stick tricks kind of guy, but I love this type of groove. So the groove is basically hitting the hi-hat on all the ands. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And every time you're hitting the hi-hat on the ands, your other stick is just going to be flipping to the other side. Okay, so you flip from the tip, and then you hold the tip, and then flip back to the butt. That's all we're doing when we come to flip the sticks. Now the part without any stick flips is exactly like this. So now every time your right hand is hitting the hi-hat or the snare, your left hand is going to be flipping the stick. Every time your left hand is hitting the hi-hat, it only hits the hi-hat on counts the and of 2 and the and of 4. Okay, so it only hits 2 times for each bar, but every time your left hand is hitting, your right hand flips the stick. So let's do it at 60 beats per minute and so you can see how it sounds. And it looks kind of funny at that really slow tempo. So let's speed it up to 100 so you can see how it sounds nice and fast. Now again, you're not going to be in a studio session and the engineer or the producer is not going to say, let's try that beat again, but this time add in those stick flips. You're never going to get that, okay? So you don't need to learn this, but it's really cool. It develops coordination, helps develop timing, helps develop some showmanship, which I think is good to learn if you're ever playing on a stage in front of a bunch of other people. All right, so the next exercise, or beat I want to show you is basically only going to use one hand. So you can choose to use your right hand or you can choose to use your left hand. I'm going to use my right hand. and involves some fast 1-foot doubles, or if you want, you can use your double pedal. So basically this is a 30-second note pattern, and we're going right, right on the hi-hat, and then bass drum, right, 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 right on the ride, bass drum, right, right. Then we have a 16th note snare hit, and then 2 30-second note bass drum notes, and then 2 30-second notes on the ride, and then 2 on the bass drum. It's as simple as that. So 2 in the hi-hat, 2 in the bass drum. 2 in the ride, 2 in the bass drum. 1 on the snare, 2 in the bass drum, 2 in the ride, 2 in the bass drum. That's the pattern. Okay, so it really just kind of flows naturally. You don't even, once you get to a certain point, you don't even have to necessarily think about it. So just listen to how it sounds when I play it, and it'll all come together. So here we go. And now, just for fun, we'll do it at 100. Okay, the next groove I'm going to teach you has quintuplets and septuplets. Okay, quintuplets are basically 5 notes per quarter note. So on count 1, we're going to play 5 quintuplets, evenly spaced notes within that one beat. And we're playing that for the first 2 beats, quintuplets, and then for the last 2 beats, count 3 and 4, playing septuplets, which is 7 notes per beat. So it sounds really, really weird. The beat sounds like it's slowing down and speeding up, when actually it's staying the exact same tempo. We're just changing the note value, and it just sounds really, really funky. So check this out. I'm putting my right hand on the ride, left hand on the hi-hat. Okay? My left hand hits all of the snare hits, or the backbeat, count 2 and 4. Here we go. And now we'll try those faster at 80 beats per minute. So although quintuplets and septuplets have their place, and it's a good thing to learn them, it's not something you'll see yourself constantly get asked to play. Okay, so I just want to let you know, but they're good to learn because it helps us recognize note values better, have a better understanding of like the note value tree, quarters, eighths, eighth note triplets, quarter note triplets, 30-second notes, and how those all relate to time. So it's like a related benefit to learning quintuplets and septuplets. Now the next exercise or beat is going to talk about a different note value, and that is 30-second note triplets. Okay, so you have your 16th note triplets, which are 6 hits per 1 quarter note, and 30-second note triplets are 12 hits per 1 quarter note. Now we're basically playing a simple groove. The kick is on 1 and 3, snares on 2 and 4. And the right hand's on the hi-hat, left hand's on the snare, and we're basically playing a single paradiddle the whole way through. So you'll need to get the sheet music for this and really just kind of slow it down and learn it like ultra slow. And then once you get it to a place where you're comfortable, you could probably push this one to like 60 or 70, but it's really hard to go faster than that because you're basically trying to fit in 12 hits per every click. Okay, so it's really, really challenging. So I'm going to play this beat first for you at 50 beats per minute, and then again at 65 beats per minute. Here we go. So that one's a real big challenge, and so just take it really slow, even if you need to do it at 30 beats per minute and put on an eighth note click or whatever. It's just fun to practice. It's 30-second note triplets. It's like, you always get asked to play 30-second note triplets, so you need to know you've got those down. All right, the next beat probably is the most usable, the most non-weird of all of these, and that is just, it's a basic tom groove that involves crossovers. Again, similar to the one we did on the cymbals. Okay, so I'm just going to play it on the toms and the snare for you nice and slowly so you can see exactly what everything is doing. Floor tom, high tom, high tom, floor tom, floor tom, floor tom, snare, floor tom, high tom, floor tom, high tom. And then the pattern resets itself. So again, floor tom, high tom, high tom, floor tom, floor tom, floor tom, snare, floor tom, high tom, floor tom, high tom. Now the bass drum is doing 1 and 3, and the snare is doing 2 and 4, and you can even put the hi-hats on quarters if you want. I'm just going to do the basic version, bass in 1 and 3, and with my hand crossing over to hit the snare. Now, just so you know, my right hand's going over my left hand. Okay, it's not going to go like this. That would be really awkward. Okay, let's try it at 60, and then again at 100. Now the final beat that you don't need to know, the final beat that you should never learn, is probably one of the most useless. But I absolutely love it. This is actually, I shouldn't say it's useless because I used it when I do solos and stuff like that. But you're basically doing a 5-stroke roll with your feet. Okay? So this is, 5-stroke roll is played using 8th note triplets and 16th note triplets. And so this is how I'd play it nice and slowly with just my feet. And then when you get it faster, you can use the heel toe or use the slide, whatever foot technique you use, and it would sound something like this. Okay, so over top of this foot pattern, or this foot ostinato, I like to play just like it's almost a 12/8 blues pattern. So my right hand is playing all the 8th note triplets, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and my left hand is hitting the snare on counts 2 and 4. So let's do this at 80 and 100 beats per minute. And there you have it, 7 beats that you really don't need to know. But I think the moral of this whole lesson is that, number one, sometimes we practice things that we shouldn't be practicing because they're not in line with where we actually want to go. And number two is sometimes those things that we're practicing, they might have related benefits that we're not seeing. And so, although some people will say, don't practice this, it's useless, sometimes you can find a little nugget of information that is actually very, very useful. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you're gonna maybe try out one of these and see what happens, see if you like it. and maybe one day you'll use it, but probably not. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys want more lessons, please head over to Drumeo.com. Some really, really cool stuff going on there. The community just continues to grow, so thank you all so much for your support. So head on over to Drumeo.com, and I hope to see you there. Bye.